Welcome to the Pulse of Peter I'm your host, Peter Biancamano, and let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And as mentioned on our social media platforms earlier this week, this is a special webisode of the Pulse. We are here at the beautiful Hulu Theater in Madison Square Garden, New York. And as you can see, we have a cage behind us because we're here for the PFL Championship. We're going to be covering 3 of the top heavyweight, well, there's a featherweight fight, a middleweight fight, and even an inaugural women's fight. And each of them are going to be worth $1 million in grand prize. We're going to be joined by Mr. Matt Davies of MMAweekly.com. He's going to be previewing the fights. We're going to have some post-game analysis afterwards, and even some interviews with the winners. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, as promised, we're here with Matt Davies of MMAweekly.com. Matt, what's going on tonight, my man?
Mate, it's pretty exciting stuff. I mean, we've got a couple of millionaires going to be made tonight. It's New Year's Eve. We're in New York City. What more could you want?
That's it. Well, you can go see the ball drop, but who wants to do that? That's for amateurs, right? This is where it's really at.
Absolutely. This is the real thing here.
Exactly, and this is our first foray into the MMA world, so we're really, really happy to have you on. We know you have an extensive knowledge on it, and I hope you're happy to be with us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can tell by the stupid accent that I'm Australian, but I live in Jersey City, so I follow the program and very happy to be on board.
Well, that's it. We love Pulse followers, and that's not the reason why he's on. He's actually an expert, folks, I swear. Anyway, so why don't we dive right in, right? And why don't we start with our featherweight fight tonight between Lance Palmer and Alex Gilpin. Palmer has won 10 straight fights and is actually 9-0 in the PFL this season. So he's going for his second straight perfect season, which is pretty impressive. It really, really is. Gilpin enters the championship as an alternate after Palmer's original opponent, Daniel Pineda, became ineligible for elevated levels of testosterone. So obviously, there's a little bit of a twist to the story here, correct, Matt? What do you think of this battle?
Well, they've already fought twice during the regular season, so it'll be interesting coming into this, the sort of insight that Gilpin has to try and take those losses back. Palmer is just an absolute stud. He's proven time and time again that he can put the pressure on when it's needed. He's got amazing wrestling, but Gilpin has a lot of finishes from forward-facing chokes, from guillotines and Darce chokes. So, I mean, if that wrestling is going to be Palmer's strong point, then he better be careful of that neck. Exactly.
And it's just amazing that Mr. Alex Gilpin, he had to really come into the battle as an alternate, but you know what? I'm sure he's ready to go, as usual, right?
Well, I mean, anyone that during the regular season and the playoffs has to fight the former champion twice during the season, I mean, that's a tall order. Like, no one else has been able to beat him, and this guy's taken him to a decision twice in one season. So
phenomenal.
Should be good.
Absolutely. Well, why don't we move on to the welterweights?
Yeah.
We have David Michaud versus Ray Cooper III. And hands are going to fly in this battle because we all know that Cooper is a heavy hitter. I mean, my goodness, I've seen previous opponents of him, and that's not the way I want to look the next morning, let's just say. Anyway, Michaud earned 2 bloody hard-fought wins himself in the playoffs. So, you know, to advance to this round. So this seems like it's going to be one of those knockout battles, correct?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, they're both high-pressure fighters. They're very experienced. They've fought in big promotions before, fought on big shows, and they've fought some great competition in the past. But it's going to be an absolute cracker of a fight because neither of them will back down. You see a lot of guys when they're heavy hitters, they'll feel each other out and spend a lot of time with that. I think from the get-go, these two are going to be swinging for the fences and going for that finish. They both have been finished once during this season, so it's going to be interesting to see if their chins or bodies get tested during this fight.
Unbelievable. Incredible. And now why don't we finally go on to the inaugural Women's Championship fight. So Anderson looks to earn her first belt while also remaining undefeated in her MMA career. Super impressive. To do so, she'll have to beat the only woman that has taken her as far as 3 rounds in the Brazilian Pacheco. Heck of a fight for a main event, correct?
This is crazy again. I mean, same thing, a lot of experience on both sides of the camp. They've been very respectful, but there's been a few words between them about the way they've come up and the way they've come through MMA. But Kayla, she seems unstoppable. She just seems like nothing can get in her way. But I mean, anything can happen. You can't. The fight maths don't work. I mean, it doesn't work that way. And as you said, Pacheco's the only one that's taken it to a decision. And I'm sure she learned a lot from that fight in itself. And that's going to be my fight of the night. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker.
That's what I like to hear. And folks, we're going to be here for like the next 3 hours. You guys are going to see us in just a few seconds after the commercial break for the post game. But I have to tell you, we're so happy to have Matt Davies here. He's going to give us some analysis when all the fights are through tonight. We're hopefully going to get some interviews as well. You ready to have some fun?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll be right back. Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse of Peter B. Folks, don't forget to get on our YouTube page and binge watch all of our past episodes. Type in the Pulse of Peter B in your search bar and please subscribe. Also, go on our Instagram page and follow us at the Pulse with Peter B. We'll see you there. All right, we are actually in the cage here, back with Matt Davies of MMAweekly.com. And Matt, this is kind of soft. Softer than I thought it was going to be.
Well, how about I pick you up and slam you on your head and see if it's still soft?
Let's do it. Should we do it?
Don't tempt me.
Exactly. All right. Well, probably won't be that soft, especially when you're hitting the steel behind us. I mean, this is a really, really cool experience. What a show tonight. So we previewed three fights a little bit earlier in the episode. And the first one was, of course, Palmer versus Gilpin, where Palmer won by unanimous decision.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I found interesting in PFL scoring compared to other MMA, whether UFC or Bellator, is that takedowns count for more points, correct, Matt?
Yeah, they do emphasize the takedowns here. There's no elbows as well, so there's a few slightly different rules. But yeah, I mean, Palmer's forward pressure and that was just incredible. Through the early rounds, Gilpin showed some slick transitions on the ground and managed to get out and get out of a few of his takedowns and stand back up again. But as the fight wore on and he got a bit more tired, it was just too much for him. And yeah, that forward pressure, that constant onslaught was just too much.
It really was. It really, really was. And now, moving on to the second fight that we discussed, which is Michaud versus Cooper, we said it was going to be a slugfest.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and that's exactly what it was. Of course, Cooper wins by a TKO in the second round. It was a phenomenal fight. There were haymakers being thrown, correct?
Oh, yeah, that was swinging for the fences.
Right.
There was no way they'll go into a decision tonight. There was absolutely no way. I think that, obviously, Cooper, he seemed to be targeting the body quite a lot. And he definitely was something that he saw. The first fight that Michaud lost earlier in the regular season was from a body kick. So maybe he saw that there may have been a bit of a weakness in his body there and decided to attack that, and that's what ultimately finished the fight.
That was unbelievable. Now, let me ask you a question about that fight, because I was paying attention. In the first round, Michaud was really getting some shots in there. He was giving him some knee shots to the face and so on and so on. And Cooper was taking it like a champ, let's just say, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. It's quite amazing, some of these guys. You can hit them with a metal pole and they'll probably just bounce off and they'll smile at you. It's quite incredible.
It's incredible. It's incredible. It's soft, but it's hard, I swear. And then finally, of course, the main event of the night, the women's light heavyweight championship, or the
lightweight
championship. Excuse me, I said light heavyweights. You're right.
And don't say that when they're around.
Yeah, exactly, because they can probably kick the what out of me. Anyway,
not probably.
Probably, definitely. He knows. Matt knows. See, Pacheco versus Harrison, and let me tell you, Pacheco really took her to the fifth round 1 minute to go, and that's when Harrison got the decision. I mean, it was kind of like a grappling type of match. Would you say so? Yeah,
well, I mean, it definitely was. It was just a case of the strong judo from Kayla is it's impossible to deal with for a lot of these girls. The judo aspect of it is if she gets taken down, she will never let her back hit the mat. So that scramble, that constant movement is just so hard to deal with for a lot of people. We saw how well Ronda did with it. Ronda's and Kayla were teammates, and it's just carrying on that legacy of strong judo players coming into MMA.
That's absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And one of the things that I noticed that the crowd was really into was that main event, and there were a lot of Kayla fans here. Obviously,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there was even a USA chant, which I'm pretty sure they were voting for a person from outside the country in an earlier fight, but that's okay.
Yeah, well.
They pay admission; they can root for whether they want. And one of the things that we didn't talk about in the previews of the fight is that it's kind of almost like surreal to see a women's fight as the main event, correct?
As the main event, yeah. Like this set a lot of new history, a lot of new records were set. It's the first world championship for lightweights in women. I think 145 up until this point, 145 pounds, which is featherweight, was the largest lightweight the largest weight class to have a world championship. And to have the women as the main event, usually the way the main events work, it'll go in weight. If you see in the UFC, it's always the heaviest weight at the top of the card, unless it's a special bout. Whereas with this, the girls stepped up and did a great job, put on an amazing fight, came out like true warriors and did the job. It was really amazing.
Fight. And folks, this is why the MMA is becoming so popular. I mean, I was thoroughly entertained today. I mean, everybody knows that we cover many different other sports on the show, but I was thoroughly entertained today. I mean, I couldn't keep my eyes off of it. And Matt, one of the things that I've noticed is that it's actually getting very, very popular from between like 18 to 34-year-olds.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like the most popular sport that's actually growing in that demographic, correct?
Absolutely. It's been growing at a rapid pace for a long time too. it's and with the purchase of the UFC and now with the UFC as well as PFL being on ESPN now, it's really legitimized it, and I think will be the next big thing to be in the Olympics. I can't see why we wouldn't have MMA in the Olympics. There's great amateur programs around the world, and the WMA around the world is picking up as well, and it's really great to see.
Absolutely phenomenal. Well, Matt Davies, MMAweekly.com. Matt, we hope we're going to have you on, in future shows. I mean, I think we're going to start, like I mentioned to you privately, that we're going to start, covering the MMA as much as possible. I think it's important to cover, and I'm just getting started here. I'm just absolutely loving it. We might have some interviews with some of the winners in the press conference room. You're not going to want to miss it. Matt will hopefully still be with us.
Oh, I'll be here. Yeah, absolutely.
He said he will be with us. Perfect. All right, we'll see you in there.
Thanks, guys.
Peter Biancamano, you're a hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, get on our Facebook page and follow and like us there. All you have to do is type in the Pulse with Peter B in the search bar. You're not going to want to miss it. We're constantly updating that page with previews. We put our full shows on there. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at our email address, and that is thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com. We look forward to responding to you. All right, we're back here as they're breaking down the cage right behind me. They're getting ready for another event here at the Hulu Theater in Madison Square Garden. What a fun night it was tonight. But before we go, as promised when we were in the cage with Matt, we did get some sound over at the post-fight press conference. Matt had the honor, I should say, to ask Ray Sifo from the PFL, who's a legend in MMA, whether or not he thinks that more women will be performing in future main event battles, as tonight we had our first main event women's championship fight. Let's hear what Ray had to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously right now the 155 division is where we're at for women's division. We have, we haven't announced it yet, but we have talked to a few promoters from around the world that will be doing a female four-woman tournament, if you will. So there's some, a lot of interest from around the world with that, and hopefully we'll find some more great fighters that's going to come out of those little tournaments.
So that was a fascinating answer, and we'll see what happens in the future. Matt also asked a question to both Lance Palmer and to Kayla Harrison, whether or not, because this is the second time they actually fought their opponents in the same year, and here's what they both had to say regarding their second bouts with their opponents from tonight.
I didn't feel like he brought anything different, which I was kind of surprised, because from the first to the second fight he kind of tried to bring a couple different tricks and things like that, but he pretty much stayed with his same game plan from the first fight. I didn't really see any improvement or changes, but also in that short 10-week period from the semifinals to tonight, there's only so much you can do to change when you're fighting the same guy. So I've been training for Alex since April of this year, so I was pretty much prepared for anything that he could have brought to me.
Yeah, I need to learn how to cut the corner on my doubles like Lance does. Jesus, oh my God. It's that Ohio State wrestling, isn't it? Go Bucks. No, I think everything was pretty similar. I knew she throws a lot of straight punches. She's a very heavy hitter. We worked a lot on defense and being smart for this fight, and just trying to be more relaxed on my feet. I think it went pretty according to plan. It was a good night.
Again, what an unbelievable night here at the 2019, it's now 2020, PFL Championship at Madison Square Garden. We want to thank Matt Davies from MMAweekly.com. He was a instrumental help tonight. It was great to get his knowledge, and it was great to have him on the program. Folks, join us next week for the Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancamano. Have a great night.